Hello and welcome back to our North Yorkshire retreat where we brought our Round Britain quiz teams to insulate them from the distractions of the outside world. Myfanwy Alexander and David Edwards of Wales take on Alan McCready and Val McDermott of Scotland today. Last time these teams clashed at the beginning of the series, it was a victory for Wales, but that doesn't mean it has to be the same today. Our teams are even now having their questions handed to them on paper, taking a measure of what they're going to face. Before they start, you may remember the question I left you with at the end of last week's quiz. I asked then who might grant admission to the singer of Lily the Pink, the Everly Brothers and a reforming priest, and why? Well, congratulations if you worked out that the answer is Paul McCartney. These are all people who are knocking at the door or ringing the bell in the hit song Let 'Em In. The singer in the band The Scaffold, whose biggest hit was Lily the Pink, was Paul McCartney's brother Michael. The Everly Brothers are Phil and Don, and the priest is Martin Luther. They're all name-checked in the lyrics to that song, though it's probable that Martin Luther is actually Martin Luther King rather than Martin Luther the priest. So that explanation will be on our webpage under today's transmission date if you want a bit more detail. Now, Wales, let's get things underway. This is your first question. What will this summer's batters have in common with Napoleon's last gasp, the years of contention between England and France, and China's short-lived floral freedoms? What will this summer's batters have in common with Napoleon's last gasp, the years of contention between England and France, and China's short-lived floral freedoms?
We think the answer could be 100 here. The contention between England and France would be the 100 Years' War, possibly.
That's right, yeah.
China's short-lived floral freedoms, this now seems so ironic, is letting 100 flowers bloom. Was one of the principles of the Cultural Revolution, wasn't it?
Well, it's a speech given by Mao at the beginning of the Cultural Revolution.
Which, given what the Cultural Revolution actually turned out to be, it must be one of the most ironic statements of all time.
Yes, thought by some to be possibly a way of smoking out resistance in order to quash it.
Very interesting.
There are various views about whether he was in earnest when he said this, but you've got the right speech.
Dirty trick.
Yeah.
Let 100 flowers bloom.
100 days is a phrase used to describe the period towards the end of Napoleon's career, in between his escape from Elba and his eventual capture at Waterloo.
That's right, absolutely. Between 20th of March 1815 and the 8th of July 1815, yeah.
Okay. Now, the summer's batters, I take it we're not talking Yorkshire pudding here, are we?
No.
I mean, apart from the fact that they would all aspire to score centuries, I think you're looking for more than that.
Yes, we are.
So we're looking for something involving 100.
It's not 100 years of the county championship, is it?
No, it might be, but that's not what we're looking for. I don't think it is anyway. There's been a lot of innovation in cricket, and this is another innovation.
Oh, this is. I'm sorry, I have a very great objection to this. This is an attempt to make cricket more popular, isn't it? With is it 100 balls?
That's right.
And I think in a piece of gross sexism, they said it would appeal to women, because women can't concentrate over a 5-day test match.
Well, and also they're going to be both men and women's teams playing this. It's the 100. It's a new cricket competition.
That's
8 new teams, and you play with 100 balls per team. I thought you were going to hit a 6 then, but it just dropped and bumped along the grass before hitting the boundary. I think we can only give you 5 for that. The 100 is a new cricket competition for this summer's batters, this summer coming. Napoleon's last gasp was the 100 days. The years of contention between England and France was a clue to the 100 Years' War. And finally, China's short-lived floral freedoms was the 100 Flowers campaign, a very brief lifting of restrictions on ideas and freedom of thought and speech before the Cultural Revolution. So, Scotland. Your question today, your first question today, has come from listener Neil Hadfield in Cockermouth in Cumbria. How and why might the following, had they been true, have interested a scientific institute based in Mountain View, California? The Annihilation of Woking, The Simultaneous Conception and Birth of Children in an English Village, and Robin Williams' breakthrough TV role. How and why might the following, had they been true, have interested a scientific institute based in Mountain View, California? The Annihilation of Woking, The Simultaneous Conception and Birth of Children in an English Village, and Robin Williams' breakthrough TV role.
Well, there's only really two major things I know about the town of Woking. One is that the Jam are actually from there, and I thought, well, maybe it was the first Jam concert annihilating the town. And the other famous thing is it's a setting for War of the Worlds in the beginning.
Also has a celebrated pizza restaurant, but that's
Oh, of
not
course
what
it
we were
does.
after. That's not what we were after.
And the simultaneous conception and birth of children in an English village, I think, is a reference to John Wyndham's novel The Midwich Cuckoos, in which aliens impregnate all the female population of this small village, and they give birth to identical children who seem to have a hive mind.
That's right, eerily blonde and golden,
Yes,
golden-eyed.
golden-eyed,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And famously, Robin Williams' breakthrough TV role when he comes out of the egg is Mork and Mindy, and his character is an alien.
Absolutely right. So you've got War of the Worlds,
Yeah.
The Midwich Cuckoos, and Mork and Mindy. Now, why might they interest a scientific institute based in Mountain View, California?
We believe that that is the base of SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, that was set up, I think, by Reagan.
It was quite early, yeah.
Yeah.
Not sure who set it
Yeah.
up, but you've got exactly the right institute. Yeah. SETI, Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. So well done, Scotland. 6 points to you. No. So, Wales, it's time for a music question. While you listen to these two extracts, think about this question. I would enjoy giving Christmas presents to the first performers, but not so much to the second. By the same logic, I would enjoy giving them to Rodney Stoke, and even more so to Langton Herring. Why?
Well, the first days are the hardest days, don't you worry anymore. 'Cause when life looks like easy street, there is danger at your door. Think this through with me, let me know your mind. Whoa, what I want to know is, are you kind?
I wish but it's all in vain. I wish I was a maid again, but I'm made again. I never can be till apples grow on an orange tree.
So, David and Mivania, I would enjoy giving Christmas presents to the first performers, but not so much to the second. By the same logic, I would enjoy giving them to Rodney Stoke, and even more so to Langton Herring. Why?
Right. Go to the second one. Lovely ballad, very dark. And I'm wondering if the performers there might be the Unthank Sisters.
You've got exactly the right performance.
Therefore, you would not wish to give Christmas presents to somebody who did not send you...
Who was unthankful, I suppose.
Yes, a nice thank you note. Yeah.
So working back from that, were the first group grateful? So, I mean, the only group I can think of that was the Grateful Dead.
It was the Grateful Dead.
So, we would enjoy giving them to Rodney Stoke and more to Langton Herring. So we are looking for people who are super thankful, or is that the same? Are we following along the same logical lines?
Not just people that have names.
It's not just people that have names.
Right. Langton isn't a sort of...
It's a place name, Langton Herring.
Yes. They're both place names.
Right. I'd got visions there of Langton being a member of a family of fish, but...
So I'm going to suggest that these are villages that are doubly thankful because they didn't lose anyone in either World War.
Well,
or at least Langton Herring is a double thankful village, and
Langton Herring,
Rodney Stoke is
a singly one.
Yeah, there's a little village in West Wales where the same is true, but because of the long name of the village and now the doubly thankful, the sign is bigger than the village. You can't see the village when you approach it. Rodney Stoke lost no one in one war, and Langton Herring in both.
That's right. Rodney Stoke in Somerset was one of the thankful villages, lost none of the men who went to war in the First World War. Langton Herring in Dorset is one of the doubly thankful villages. All of the men returned from both the First and the Second World Wars. So you would enjoy giving Christmas presents to the first performers, the Grateful Dead, because they would be grateful. Not so much to the second, because they were the unthanks. I think I had to nudge you to a place name, but you dismantled, without knowing really any of the facts, you dismantled that with real skill. So I think we can give you 5 for that, Wales. So, Scotland, this question has come to us from a listener, Dr. Julian White. What number links a marmalade-loving ursine, an X-ray photograph, crucial in the history of science, and Homey Airport or Groom Lake? What number links a marmalade-loving ursine, an X-ray photograph, crucial in the history of science, and Homey Airport or Groom Lake?
It could be the number 0, which is probably the amount of points we're going to get.
It might slightly more than that. We do think the marmalade-loving ursine refers to Paddington Bear.
Yes, you've got the right ursine.
Mm-hmm. So we wondered if the number was the platform that he was found on.
It's not. I think Dr. Okay. Julian White has been pretty tough on you here, but it's not that.
When it comes to the X-ray, we're kind of in two minds about whether the original... I know that the original X-ray discovery by Röntgen was accidental. I don't know if that's what we're looking for.
It's not that one, no.
Or if it was the discovery of X-ray crystallography.
You're closer to it now.
Is that Dorothy Hodgson?
That's not who we're looking for.
Okay.
It's a very significant X-ray photograph in 20th century science, this. What about, you might be better off if you start with Homey Airport or Groom Lake.
Yeah. Well, we would be if we knew anything about them.
There is a sort of connection here to your last question.
I forgot what the last question was.
Aliens.
War of the World. It's Area 51.
It is Area 51, yes.
Okay, so right. Why has Paddington Bear got to do with Area 51? It's the autopsy of an alien, really, isn't it?
Was Paddington 51 years old?
He wasn't.
No. It could be now.
I don't think they give Paddington's age, but he's a young bear, I think.
Yes, he was.
Where did he come from, though?
Peru. He came from Peru. His Aunt Lucy sent him from Peru.
I don't think Aunt Lucy was on the phone, but if she was...
Area codes. Okay. So the area code for Peru is presumably 51.
The country code for Peru is 51.
An X-ray photograph 51.
Yes.
It is photo 51. Yeah, you don't know what that's a reference to.
No.
It's a doubly tangled question, this, and there's a sort of doubly tangled...
So are we looking at alien things as well as Area 51?
Not alien, no. Okay. Integral to all of us.
DNA.
Right.
It was photo 51 was taken by Rosalind Franklin in 1952. It gave the clue to Crick and Watson about the structure of DNA. A really tough question, that, I think. What number links a marmalade-loving ursine, an X-ray photograph crucial in the history of science, and Homey Airport or Groom Lake? The number is 51. 51 is the dialing code for Peru. Photo 51 was the famous picture taken by Rosalind Franklin that led Watson and Crick to understand that DNA was a double helix. And then finally, Homey Airport or Groom Lake are other names for Area 51. You struggled with that one, but it was a really tough question. I think I'm going to be generous and give you 3 for sort of working your way through the various tangles of it. So, Wales. A fictional spy boss handed a confidentiality notice to a real spy boss. Someone who wasn't yet qualified to drive watched an old adult movie about winning a war. Then I turned up. In which fateful year might all of this have happened? A fictional spy boss handed a confidentiality notice to a real spy boss. Someone who wasn't yet qualified to drive watched an old adult movie about winning a war. And then I turned up. In which fateful year might all of this have happened?
Can I just say this is the kind of RBQ question that you just love. I just think it's just such great fun because there's so many little bits to it. It's like a Christmas pudding of a question.
Yeah, but can you find the coin in the Christmas pudding? That's
well,
what
we
want
can have
to
a
know.
good go. A fictional spy boss is M.
It is.
The real spy boss, C.
Is correct, yes.
Confidentiality notice is a D notice.
It is.
Somebody not yet qualified to drive would carry an L plate on their vehicle, unless they were in Wales, in which case it messes up the question. It would be D.
Right, okay. What does D stand for in Wales?
Dusgood.
Meaning learner, I
Meaning
presume.
learner.
Yes.
An old adult movie was an X movie.
Yes, now rated 18. Yep.
Yeah.
About winning the war, V for victory. Then I turned up, presumably that's just I. And if you put them all in sequence, you get MDCLXI. Is that right?
Careful.
MDCL.
L. X. V.
VI. Sorry. Yeah.
Which is 1666. The year of
The finish of the
plague
the end
and
of
the Great
plague.
Fire.
And the Great Fire, yes, that fateful year. Brilliantly done. VI to you for that. A fictional spy boss was M from the James Bond stories, handed a confidentiality notice, a D notice, to a real spy boss, C, who is the head of MI6. Someone who wasn't yet qualified to drive, L for an L driver, watched an old adult movie, an X movie, about winning a war, V for victory. Then I turned up, I on the end. It gave you MDCLXVI, which is the Roman numerals for 1666, that fateful year. Well done. So, Scotland. Listen to these clips of Alan Allen, see if they help you to find a way into the question.
Summer in a city where the air is still, a baby being born to the overkill. Well, who cares what people say? We walk down love's motorway, ambition of love, wearing boxing gloves and singing hearts and flowers. The public gets what the public wants, but I want nothing. Society's got some going underground. But if the brass bands play up, feet start to pound. Going underground. But if the boys all sing, or let the boys all shout for tomorrow.
So, Val and Alan, 3 fairly familiar bits of music, one slightly less familiar. Can you use them to find a way into the question?
Well, the final clip of Going Underground by the Jam might indicate that we have to tunnel our way into this question.
You don't, I think. I think the
Okay.
question setter probably hoped you would think that, but
Okay.
but you've got the right piece of music, certainly. And the band is the important
The
element
Jam.
here.
And number 2 was Somewhere in the City by Aztec Camera.
Somewhere in my heart, in
Somewhere in my
fact.
heart.
But that's not going to cause you a problem.
So it's Aztec Camera.
It is Aztec Camera. You need to know who their lead singer is.
It's Roddy Frame.
It is Roddy Frame, yeah.
What about the first piece of music?
It's Handel.
So we've got Handel, Frame.
I think the third piece is Basin Street Blues.
It isn't, in fact.
Okay.
No.
So it's
But
still
look
the
at
windows.
the answers you've got and look more carefully at the question. Can you find a
Yeah.
way in?
Handel, Frame,
Door Jam. Doors.
Door. Yes. All
I'm
parts
pretty
of
sure number
Doors.
3 isn't the Doors. Which would be very nice if it was.
So, what else would
We
you find
could-
on
yeah.
the door? Door furniture. So you've got the frame, you've got the handle, you've got the jam, you've got a lock, you've got the...
I'll give you a little bit of time to see if you can.
Panel.
Strictly speaking, I'm not sure whether this is part of a door or a part where the door isn't.
opening, aperture.
Looking at a door. Trying to get inspiration.
Yeah, you're all looking across to the door in the corner, and that door does
Entrance.
not have what we're looking for.
We're looking for something that's
we're looking for-
It's one of those things that's going to make us look deeply, deeply stupid.
Yeah, we are looking for something that isn't there. We're looking for something you could look through.
Keyhole.
Keyhole. Keyhole Blues. So we played you Handel's Water Music, Aztec Camera, Somewhere in My Heart. The lead singer and founder is Roddy Frame. Louis Armstrong's Keyhole Blues. And finally, Going Underground by The Jam. We may refer that bit of the clue to the Pun Compliance Commission, but it all led to elements in a door. I'm going to be generous. I think the ball has been running against you in this competition. I had to prise open the door a little bit for you, but I will give you 4 for that, Scotland. So, Wales, a barefoot runner, an England captain, the Messiah, according to Isaiah, and a road defined in 1936. What would be their most natural order? A barefoot runner, an England captain, the Messiah, according to Isaiah, and a road defined in 1936. What would be their most natural order?
If we're talking about track running, I can think of more than one runner who've been famous for running barefoot, but the one that springs immediately to mind was the controversial Zola Budd.
That's right,
And
yeah.
it fits with what we think the question is all
Yeah,
about too.
because from Bud, we get to natural order, which makes you think of something to do with natural history.
Or it could be, depending on where this goes, either a chronological or a development order, if you like, or it could be an order in terms of position on what we think might be a tree.
Yes, the last is the...
Right, so it's position,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That helps us with the one part we were vacillating about.
Yeah.
Right, well, other England captains are available, but the one that fits the question is Joe Root.
That's
For us,
the one
anyway.
we're looking for, yeah.
Okay.
And a road defined in 1936, we suggest could be a trunk road.
It is a trunk road, yeah. The 1936 was the Trunk Roads Act, by which
Now,
Parliament established.
we kept on thinking that Isaiah banged on about the Messiah quite considerably and called him lots and lots of things, actually, of which there is a list now on this piece of paper. But are we thinking about a branch of Jesse?
We are, yes.
And, as opposed to Wonderful Counselor, which wouldn't fit in.
Or Abraham and his seed,
yeah,
which
yeah.
is
So which-
our other route.
So we've got a trunk, a branch, a root, and a bud.
Yeah,
So
so,
root,
what would be their most natural order?
Well,
I'll make
well,
you.
root
starting
would be
from
in the
bottom.
ground, then there's a trunk, then there's a branch, and a bud on the end.
Very good. I think I'm going to dock 1 point because I just steered you towards 1 out of your 3 options. You might have a justifiable moan because I was a bit premature in doing so, but I think 5 points is fair for that. Yeah, I can see the expression of horror on your face, but you needed to plump a little more decisively for your last choice there. So 5 points to you, Wales. I'm afraid, Alan Val, you're still just playing for pride with this final question, but you can still get a 6. This one comes from Anthony Davis in Bude in Cornwall. What's similar about all of the following? A singularly risky long bar, a bewildering insulator, something you might steal from the tack room, and an onomatopoeic member of the genus Picus. What's similar about all of the following? A singularly risky long bar, a bewildering insulator, something you might steal from the tack room, and an onomatopoeic member of the genus Picus.
Do we get 6 points for saying the similar thing about all of them is that we don't know what they are?
Or we could simply, say the Welsh have already won this tie. We may as well just let them. But we'll bow out at this point graciously.
No, I'm afraid we have to put you through it.
Yeah. Have to take the further humiliation that's coming our way.
Yeah, we're really struggling.
I don't know the onomatopoeic. The only onomatopoeic thing I can think of is cuckoo, and it probably isn't that.
It's not that. No. You're right that it's a bird.
Right.
Well, start with bewilderment, since you are bewildered and you may...
Yes. We are bewildered.
Synonyms for confusion and might come to you more easily. A bewildering insulator.
Baffling.
Yeah.
Baffle.
A baffle.
A baffle is the one we're looking for. Now,
Okay.
if you follow from the line of identity, something you might steal from the tack room.
We've gone through every bit of horse paraphernalia we could come up with, and it still
Bridle,
doesn't.
saddle, snaffle. Snaffle.
You have finally
Snaffle bit.
arrived at the right bit of tackle.
Snaffle
yes.
bit, yeah.
So you've got baffle and snaffle.
And
Raffles is the... No, is it? Singularly risky long bar? Raffle?
It is, yes. But do you know why?
Singapore,
Yeah.
Raffles Hotel.
The Raffles
Yeah.
Hotel in Singapore has a very famous bar called the Long Bar. Yep. Now,
And,
what about
onomatopoeic
the...
member of the genus Picus. Waffle, snaffle.
I think it's fairly clear what the last 5 letters of
Yes.
this...
Snaffle, yeah.
Waffle?
You're really very close, actually. Very close, alphabetically.
Waffle.
Saffle. Yaffle.
Yaffle.
Professor
It is
Yaffle.
Yaffle.
Yaffle?
It is Yaffle, yes.
Yaffle, of course.
Yeah.
It's a yaffle.
Yeah.
It's well known for its cry. Yaffle, yaffle.
It's the
Yaffle.
European green woodpecker.
Which is Professor Yaffle
As
and
you,
Bankus.
as you obviously knew, but just couldn't recall, the Yaffle. So, what's similar about all of the following is they all sound similar. A singularly risky long bar was a clue to a raffle and raffles long bar in Singapore. A bewildering insulator was a baffle. Something you might steal from the tack room is snaffle, both verb and noun, and yaffle, the colloquial name for the European green woodpecker, which comes from its laughing call. It's an onomatopoeic name. Seeing we are now in a position where the scoring doesn't matter, so I could give you 6 out of pure generosity and, well, pity, I think it would be. But I think, strictly speaking, we can only give you 3 for that. So, at the end of today's game, the scores are Wales 21 points and Scotland 16, giving Wales the victory again. Both of these teams will play once more before the end of the series. You can keep an eye on the rankings in the series so far by going to the Round Britain quiz pages of the Radio 4 website. Next week, the Midlands are going to be playing the North of England. I hope you'll join us for that. And I will have the answer to this puzzle, which you can be thinking about between now and then. If Barker and Corbett encounter sequentially Kieslowski's Colours, Blyton's Adventurers, Tarantino's Undesirables, and Thurber's Timepieces, how many pilots would they meet next? If Barker and Corbett encounter sequentially Kieslowski's Colours, Blyton's Adventurers, Tarantino's Undesirables, and Thurber's Timepieces, how many pilots would they meet next? That question is online. If you can't remember it, there are no prizes, don't write, but you can see if you're right when I reveal the answer next time. Thanks for listening today, and goodbye.